During the stillness of the pandemic, photographer Rohit Chawla found unexpected kinship with the stray dogs of Goa's empty beaches. In this reflective session, he shares a story behind Rain Dogs, a moving collection that captures solitude, empathy, and quiet resilience through image and memory.
Hey Rohit, congratulations on Rain Dogs. I got my copy very recently and it's fantastic. It looks really sexy. I love the size. I love just the richness and the intensity of the color and the production and of course the images. So well done.
Meanwhile, I love your hair. I love what you've been doing the last so many years. The fact that we were colleagues at a time and we were not really great friends at the time, but we became friends over the years. And I am really, really happy about your journey and to see you being so prolific. 5 novels now. And
Seven.
seven? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I always get it wrong. So 7 novels wrong, and some of them have been made into films. So I think it's great to have this conversation with you.
So this is the pandemic book, na, that you did. Like for me, the pandemic, I sort of crept down into my basement and hid from my family and wrote a whodunit murder mystery because it made me want to kill people, the claustrophobia. So how did you manage and how did this come?
No, this came, it was not some by design. It was just an accident. I happened to
Yeah.
stuck in Goa at that period of time, and perforce, I used to go to the beach every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning because that was the only time I could avoid the cops who would be chasing me and asking me not to step out of the house.
Mm.
And there was this magical image that happened one day of this migrant staring it into the
Mm.
horizon. And once I got that image,
Mm.
it sort of
Mm.
became a template. It called to me and it said that let me do a project on that. But having
Mm.
said that, you know how important catchphrases and titles are. So
Mm.
when Jeet Thayal was in
Mm.
Goa, and one day we were sitting in a restaurant talking, and
Mm.
he gave me this title, Rain Dogs. So that
Mm.
became an essential, calling card for doing this sort of book. And then
Mm.
I moved to a beach location. I started living on the beach,
Mm.
and that was the beginning, really. And
Mm.
it became the only. At the end of the day, the only thing I had to show for myself was if I get a good dog picture today or not. So it
Yeah.
became an exercise, and then I sort of forgot about it, and and
Yeah.
it continued for a little while, and every now and then I would go back to this exercise, and by the end of the pandemic, it had become such an obsession that I
Mm.
had about 10,000 photographs in my cell phone,
Mm.
my cameras,
Mm.
and
Mm.
slowly was really fed up because no matter, even though the pandemic was over, and whichever part of the world I would go, I would always be shooting dogs. So she
Mm.
suggested that
Mm.
there has to be a fruition and
Yeah.
exhibition of sorts. And so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
planned the exhibition. And then Himali from the Suitable agency came up
Mm.
with a suitably good idea for the book. And so we did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I did the lazy part. Anuja, your story, and I'm so glad that your drain dogs or rain dog, your
Yeah.
version of drain
Yes.
is so magical. Can you take me through that experience of, why you did a much more, I mean,
Oh,
pain.
yeah.
No, I mean, the sending. Talk me through that journey of your adopting those dogs in the.
No, actually, again, it was a pandemic thing. Because everybody was at home and everybody was in the colony, right? Like usually people get in the cars and they drive out and they don't know what happens there all day. But because people were at home and they were bored and there was no content even on television because they were just repeating old episodes of Ramayana, like that's what India had become. So people were entirely jobless. So they were watching the streets all the time. And then they realized that there are a lot of strays in our township. And it was the monsoon by then. And that's why when you called me and said, "Do you have anything for rain dogs?" I said, "I have my drain dogs, like my drain dog story." So we had this dog, one was called Sonali because she lived in a nali. And then there was another one called Amma because Amma kept having babies all the time. And Amma had these babies. And there was a big hue and cry. And they said that there were six dogs. There were six puppies. And a- actually we started feeding them a little, me and the kids and other people who were at home. So it was literally like there were two groups. There was a group of people who wanted to save the dogs and look after them and love them, and there was a group of people screaming rabies and corona and all kinds of things and saying that this is ye to like it's filth and it's disease and it's infection, and they'll bite someone or they'll eat someone. It was crazy the kind of hatred people had, and the amount of time they had to devote into the hatred, the amount of energy they had. So it became like a two-piece, like a war all the time. And somebody complained, and then the dogs were put the in a garbage truck. They picked up the puppies and they put them in the garbage truck, and the mother was curled up and sort of it had happened to her before. She'd given up. She was totally resigned. She'd curled up into a ball facing the other way, and they were squeaking in the truck. And my housekeeper who was watching the window, she said she let out a hue and a cry, and she was like, they're taking the dogs. And I went running out. We flagged it down. I climbed into the garbage truck, and inside all that, the tea leaves and the eggshells and just all everybody's refuse, there were these six puppies sitting there. And the sad thing is, they were so happy. They thought it was an adventure. They were wagging their tails. They're so trusting. They thought they're being taken to a good place. Like it's like that scene in Animal Farm when they take Boxer away to be executed, and he doesn't. It was literally like that. So then we pulled them out, and they said, well, if you pull them out, you're responsible. And that time I didn't know that it's illegal to remove dogs from where they live. Like, the laws of India very clearly the says that a street dog belongs on the street, and you mustn't move it from one street to another street, because it creates a ripple effect. Because when that dog is moved and placed somewhere else, it displaces other dogs, and so all the dogs shift. And if people have been getting them their injections and keeping them safe, that whole thing goes for a toss, because now they're new dogs, and you have no idea where these Lavaris dogs came from, or what their the anti-rabies is, or the vaccination is, and so on. So very clearly, the laws Maneka Gandhi put into place said that if there are dogs in a place, they can't be moved. They can be taken away, vaccinated, spayed, and put back in the same place. So I spoke to my sister in the US, and apparently now they changed the law. But during the lockdown in like 21, I think 21, late 20, early 21, the law was that the dogs could be sent overseas, adopted to the US. So we flew them Lufthansa cargo in these beautiful little kennels. I slept them in the kennels for 5, 6 nights to get them acclimatized to sleeping in those kennels. We tore up one of my pajamas and put a little rag in each one so they would feel secure because they could smell me. We tore up the mother's blanket and put it like that similarly so they would feel secure. They flew Lufthansa cargo. It cost a fair amount of money. I think it cost 4.5 lakhs or something to get them out. But at the other end, they were adopted by people who paid that money to adopt the dogs. So in
Incredible.
the balance, yeah, and what fantastic homes those dogs have now. They've gone to fantastic homes all over the New England area. They send me photographs of the dogs running in the snow and swimming in the ocean and being in Cape Cod and being at the shooting of Nicole Kidman's latest show, because that girl does set design and all. So
What an incredible story. What an incredible story. The amount, I mean, it sounds very easy to do something like this, but it must have been a Herculean job.
So, Acha, coming back to the book, Rohit, I see that you have pulled in a lot of like really wide variety of writers to contribute to this. I, of course, have won the alphabetical lottery and I get to be top of the list. But
That's
your
true.
list has, after me, Arundhati Subramaniam, Atul Sareen, Devdutt Patnaik, Girish Sahane, Indu Balachandran, Javed Akhtar, Jeet Thyal, Karanjit Kaur. So many insane names. The list ends with Vikram Seth. They are fantastic writers here. How did this happen? What did you, are these
I,
all dog lovers?
it's also because, for the last, let's say, 18, 20 years, I've been photographing authors at JLF. So I know most of these people. But so some of them are my friends. And I also wanted a certain completely unpretentious, different styles of writing. Everybody has a particular style. I didn't want this book to be a heavy duty, I love dogs, or a book with complete gravitas and figures. I wanted the writing styles to be so as different as possible. There could be a lightness or touch somewhere where Swati writes something simple. Manu would always write a bit of an unconventional forward. So I chose that. And I think it was not by any design, again, just made some phone calls, like a simple phone call to you, and you came up with that story. Indu came up with the story, Javed Akhtar. So I think everybody, I saw a little, I mean, a common love for, I mean, the writers are humane in any case. I mean, if they have to feel. And so it was very easy.
What I love about Street Dogs, which is actually a line which is in my most recent book, which actually has a lot of dogs in it, which is that dogs don't follow I mean, I forget the exact phrasing, but basically it says that they don't follow the hierarchical orders of human society. They tend to bark at emperors and grovel before beggars, and that really is their pecking order and their hierarchy is completely different. And that's also what makes them fantastic. But I think in all the photographs, there is so much idiosyncrasy and like so much spirit in each animal that you photograph. So, do you have some photographs which are your favorites or that really speak to you or that you would put up in your own home?
Yeah.
That,
So
that in your
it's so strange you say that. My home has three photographs in it. So one is of that magical guy in black fishing
Hmm,
on
hmm, hmm.
a particular corner of Morgan. It's like I'm a classical Western music and an opera fiend. For me, it's like him conducting an orchestra, and that black dog is like his lead violinist somewhere. And so that picture is very special to me because I photographed him about 10 times.
Well,
Most of the times, these people used to do this same stuff every day in a particular beach. The guy would,
oh, yeah.
I would shoot them
Mm,
multiple times, and sometimes all the elements came together. The guy
mm,
staring into the future and with a dog. So they were just happy accidents that happened out of a careful vigil, I would say. Yes.
mm. That's a lovely way to sum it up. A happy accident that happened after a careful vigil.
And I just hope that people would, because all proceeds from the book obviously go to animal charities. And I think the
Fantastic.
best thing about giving somebody indie dog would be perhaps giving a book like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But congratulations. I loved it. My copy is fabulous. I think everyone should get it's so lovely, touchy-feely. I mean, this is the kind of book that if it goes through airport security, also the security person will look at you with more respect and saying, Madam, कितनी classy किताब लेके जा रहे हो. बहुत
you know,
सुंदर है.
thank you for being on the show, Anuja. I think we could call it a day now.
Thank you, Rohit. Wish you and everybody else out there a happy World Book Day.
Happy World Book Day. And I hope on this World Book Day, you think about the dogs and do
Yes.
something. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.